Shalom, and welcome to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. This is Meditation and Mindfulness with Rabbi-Cantor Hilary Chorney.
There are no endings, just new beginnings, and we're up to Bereshit. I did some reading of Chief Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory on a few of his older commentaries on Parshat Bereshit. And one of the commentaries speaks about something I don't feel particularly expert in, which was the exploration of Japanese culture by the United States at the time of World War II and the time of Pearl Harbor. This idea that the United States felt that they were about to be at war with a culture that they truly didn't understand. There's a book about this by somebody who researched it very deeply. It's called The Chrysanthemum and the Sword, something like that. Oh, don't hold me to that. And it's all about the differences between American and Japanese culture, because when you're at war with another country or culture, it's important to understand their culture. This has come up a lot recently in the war in Israel that, thank God, is at a peaceful pause, and about understanding what motivates particular leaders to work in particular ways. What Rabbi Sacks wants to point out is that something in the Garden of Eden is worth noting in a cross-reference with this understanding of U.S. and Japanese culture. And this is what we're going to explore today. And it's heavy, but it's simple and beautiful. We won't go there yet. I'll teach the Torah, and then we'll go into the meditation. He says that there's a very big difference between a guilt culture and a shame culture. A guilt culture is an awareness of doing what is not ethically correct and listening to one's inner sense of right and wrong and understanding the ethical sense, the context that we live in, perhaps directed by God, our community culture, and having a gut feeling that you're not doing right. That's guilt. Shame is dishonor. Shame is impractical and illogical. Shame is a feeling that is harmful rather than helpful because it takes us to places where we can't correct ourselves from. The example that Rabbi Sacks gives of this idea is that Adam and Chava, once they eat from the tree of knowledge, hide from God's voice. Hide from God's voice. Now, what's illogical isn't the hiding from God because they don't fully understand God yet as a creator. Of course, there's a little bit of missing logic there because God is all-seeing, but we don't really have a relationship fully with God yet there. What's illogical is that they're hiding from a voice. Why are they hiding? Because they're embarrassed. Why are they embarrassed? Because they have an unhelpful sense rather than thinking about the thing that they actually did wrong. What should they be guilty about? They ate from the tree they were told not to eat from. What are they ashamed of? Being naked before a voice. And it's that mismatch in logic that's supposed to teach us that difference between shame and guilt. Guilt is useful. Guilt is a tool. Guilt is beating our chest and confessing and coming back into a new year and being aware that we've done wrong. The whole point is to acknowledge and confess that we've done wrong so we can do better. Shame is unshakable. Shame not only doesn't help us fix ourselves, it gets us stuck because we're in a mode where we're not logically trying to correct the behaviors that we're doing. Instead, we're hiding. This is the difference between knowing guilt and being okay with going to a place of guilt on a path to correction, which is exactly what I think we should be thinking about when we come to the other side of the season of tshuva. It's much easier to do tshuva starting with Parshat Bereshit, with this clean slate, than it is to wait until 11 months from now and start it over at Elul. That's where we're going to meditate from. So I invite you to get comfortable. Those who are on my couch will notice it's nice and low, so if you have reasonable size, even Dad can reach. Try to ground yourself a little bit. I couldn't on the chair. Ground yourself where you are. Let gravity take you down towards the earth. And begin to let everything in you settle. First, the breath. Take in a few breaths and notice that they keep settling down deeper and deeper within you. Let the bottommost part of you, you're seated on the floor, that might be your backside. If you're seated in a chair or on the couch, your feet, let them touch the floor. Let gravity do the work of pulling you down and settling. Let your hands come to a rest, either welcoming the world with palms up or reassuring yourself with palms down. Let your spine settle towards the earth, and let your shoulders straighten and settle over that spine. Settle into that feeling of being held upright just by the simple construction of your body. Seated but upright, settled but reaching. Let any of the muscles in your neck and your jaw and your face relax and settle. There's no outward gaze. It's just you. And you're looking out from the inside. Take all that self-awareness and put it to your breath and your thoughts. Not what you might look like when you're sitting here, but where's your mind? How fast is your heart beating? What are the first feelings and thoughts that come up when you ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I thinking right now? And just sit with that self-acknowledgement. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? See if you can mute those thoughts a little bit. Just for a moment. And think, I am here. No one needs me right now. I need me. I am settling. From this place of rest, we're going to open up a small portal of awareness. It's very small. This little portal, it's just above the bridge of our nose and between our eyes. It's a space that we sometimes call pineal or third eye. Think of it as a projector, place where thoughts and feelings can play out inside us. And through that tiny little lens, that little portal, I want you to let in one and only one notion of self-awareness that's tinged with guilt. Just one. None of the others are allowed through. Maybe it's a leftover crumb from Tashlich or Yom Kippur. Something that didn't quite wash all the way away into the sea. Try to make the thought as simple as you can. I feel guilty because, and finish that thought. Only one is allowed, no more. It's a very small and powerful portal, and even one thought is overwhelming. But I do feel guilty because of this one thing that lingers with me. And remember that even the Garden of Eden was a place where guilt could slip in through the portal. Even your beautiful, precious mind, your heart, your soul, it's not fully protected from those feelings of guilt. But you have to be careful about how many you let in. And then once you do, there's this little thought of guilt living in your garden. And like a tiny flower, you can examine it. Where did it come from? Why is it growing here? If you thought you pulled it like a weed, why is it back? And as you look at this thought more closely, ask the thought, if I feel guilty for doing this, what can that guilt teach me? I feel guilty for. What can this teach me? We're going to sit in our peace in the gardens of our mind, and with that one little bitty guilty thought that we let in, we're going to examine it and demand of it that if it made its way in, it must be here to teach us something. So we're going to sit in quiet and learn from it. as you begin to return to the surface. You can let that little guilty thought right back out through the portal. Thank it for coming by. Let it go out the way it came in. Hold on to something that it taught you. And take some nice grounding breaths as you slowly lift your eyelids again and return to the room, to the present, self-awareness. Wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and Namaste, and see you around.
You have been listening to another in our series of podcasts from Temple Beth Am, a dynamic center for conservative Judaism in Los Angeles. If you enjoy these podcasts, we invite you to write a review on the Apple Podcast site or wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about Temple Beth Am Los Angeles, go to tbala.org.